Hello, ranchers. While I'm always grateful to be sharing a Mindfulness with Marcia session with you, it does pain me just how many times I've been reflecting on a Monday what to share in Mindfulness with Marcia for the week, followed by a weekend of violence and terrorism. And yet, here I find myself again. You see, I struggle to share thoughts with you that honor God, obviously my mindfulness practice, and yet also honors my anger, the incredible necessary work that it is to be done in this world, and of course the lives lost and the lives forever changed by these events. It's still a bit raw, as many of us are right now. But here's my thoughts for you when reflecting upon these tragedies in a mindful way. I recognize that the world has broken our hearts again and again. 2 mass shootings in 24 hours? Well, my heart, and I imagine yours too, just aches. It's at times like these that I don't know mindfulness is so needed in the world. Let me say that again. It's times like this when I know mindfulness is so needed in the world, but yet the opposite, I feel like somehow it's completely inadequate. And I usually see and interpret events in my life through the lens of my mindfulness practice, but I don't know, quite honestly, how to be mindful about mass shootings. I know that suffering and pain that I'm feeling right now is minimal compared to the anguish of those who have lost loved ones this weekend or experienced the trauma of mass shootings or are just hurting in a multitude of ways that I cannot even imagine. And yet here I am wanting to be able to somehow have mindfulness make sense of this all. So here is what I do know from my practice. I know suffering is suffering, and I know that minimizing it or ignoring my anger because, well, others have it worse than you, Marcia, well, that only actually makes things worse. With mindfulness, if I can't feel and process my anger and even my rage, I can't learn from it. And mindfulness helps me to learn from my emotions. I know that the world desperately needs compassion and kindness right now. And I know every day, I pause in compassion and kindness and gratitude with my mindful living journey. And boy, does the world need that right now. And I know that I need my practice as unenough, I'm not sure that's even a word, as unenough as it may feel in these moments. I know I need to pause. I know I need to sit in my formal practice. I know I need to feel my pain and feel the pain of the world to whatever extent I am able to feel that. And I need to find the stillness in order to listen to that wisdom of my own body. Finally, I also know that mindfulness is not just being passive. Mindfulness helps us shape our relationships to the things we cannot control and to navigate the spaces where we may be unable to act. But you see, for me, mindful living is a place where I believe we can act. Because when we're mindful, we can see clearly when we take stock of what is actually happening at the present moment. We can act. We can send thoughts, for example, at this moment as we hold the victims of this tragedy with fierce compassion. I'm reminded today of a teacher who once said that mindfulness needs heartfulness. We need to cultivate a curious, non-judgmental awareness with mindfulness, and yet an open, loving heart that inspires us to be kind and inspires us to loving action. I think mindfulness without heartfulness, well, for me, it would be very dry and dispassionate. And heartfulness without mindfulness, well, it's just overwhelming. It's just feeling all the feels. It's like emotional chaos without any wisdom or insight. So when tragedy strikes, we can call upon our mindfulness living, our mindfulness practice. We can notice our fear, our rage, our sadness, our aching heart, perhaps our churning stomachs, our shaking body, or even our clenched fists, because these are all collective emotional and physical reactions to hatred and violence. With mindfulness, we can pay attention, we can feel, we can listen, and we can notice. I'll end our time together by sharing that for me in these times of distress, I often turn to my work at the ranch. You see, I turn to my work here at the ranch because I know that at least in this very small piece of the world, in this place, and in maybe a very small way, when I do my life work here, I can make a difference through love and compassion, which in some small way has a rippling effect that can make a difference in the world. So this week's pause, let's pause with compassion. Will you join with me in thoughts of really deep compassion for the ranch, for those who lost loved ones, for those who are grieving, for our world that is hurting this week? Bless you. Bless you, ranchers.